Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles, like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Catch the Tech Branch with Marlo Anderson
and Steve Bakken
on Super Talk 1270, Saturday afternoons 1 till 4 on Super Talk 1270.
It's time for Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch.
Good morning. You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken. Lori Hintz joining us from Beck News. Just a little reminder, roads a little slick out there, a little mist and drizzle through yesterday afternoon into the overnight that caused some of the roadways to be a little slippery, so do be careful if you're commuting or transversing any of the intersections around town or out on the highways. Roads are a little slick. We didn't get the brunt of the freezing rain, though, so that slid far off to the east and southeast. So that was good news for the Bismarck-Mandan area. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270, and just like we do each and every Monday morning, Lori Hintz from Beck News, beck.news, BEK.news. You can follow all the latest with the proposed Summit Carbon Solutions proposed pipeline. And Lori, a lot going on. We've got a PSC meeting coming up and interesting article down in Sioux Falls.
Yes, the Sioux Falls Argus Leader has an article that came out a couple days ago now, actually 3 days ago on the 19th, by a gentleman named Dominic Dausch, D-A-U-S-C-H. And the article talks about Sioux Falls, and they actually are talking about what's going on in South Dakota. The deal in South Dakota is they are in their legislative session right now, and so they are bringing forth legislation on behalf of property owners. And it is just apparently not going well again this time. South Dakota lawmakers kill bill that would block Summit Pipeline is the headline of this one. Quote, too problematic to pass. So they're having trouble on there. This bill was brought by Representative Scott Moore at the request of rural landowners, according to the article. And the landowners are actively opposing the 2,000-mile, $5.5 billion pipeline proposed by Summit Carbon Solutions, which, by the way, if you are not aware, Summit Carbon Solutions is based in Iowa. They are an Iowa company. But under the proposed amendment, quote, energy groups would have also needed to obtain written consent from landowners permitting access to their property at the scheduled date and time. Proponents say bill offers a common sense approach to survey access, but opponents are arguing the amended law would have, quote, chilling effect on utilities. So they are trying to argue and they're trying to iron out definitions for all of these things. And this is a really big problem with the whole carbon capture scheme, if you will, for many of these people, because what's going on is that the definitions are getting muddied. And I kind of learned that when I was at the Northwest Landowners Association meeting. They say words matter, and you need to use specific terms in order to argue your case. So in this case, they're talking about chilling effect on utilities, which means convoluting things like water and oil pipelines and other types of transmission lines, and that is what is mucking them up in South Dakota, as far as I can tell from this.
Okay, so bringing that back to North Dakota, in our last legislative session, where there were 8 bills that got crushed last minute at the behest of the governor's office that would have strengthened and bolstered property rights and property landowners' ability to protect their land. Kind of the same thing. Is it just that the North Dakota cycle was ahead of what's going on in South Dakota? Is it more a case that there was something working behind the scenes in North Dakota that maybe wasn't in the same light as it is in South Dakota, and now South Dakota is dealing with it, but we're seeing some legislators' true colors show up? Because that's really what happens if you're voting against things that are going to strengthen property rights. Who are you really working for?
Well, they brought it up in the meeting last week at the Northwest Landowners Association. They had a 2024 conference on the Constitution, and it was brought up once again, like it was in Iowa at a rally that they had there one time, that the Senate were the ones that were the problems in every single one of the Midwestern states who had trouble passing legislation, which is very curious that they all passed bills in the House. In the case of Nebraska, they're unicameral. They do not have a House and a Senate, so they have one body that they have in Nebraska. But all the other states, Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, they all have the two different bicameral, and so they have the House and the Senate, and they passed in the House and they didn't in the Senate. So that's curious. That seems very odd that it would be every single time. So makes you have to look back and go, okay, what is the difference here? Why is this not working? In South Dakota, this is an interesting one because, Darla Rogers, who is a lobbyist for a rural electric association in South Dakota, told the committee the bill would convolute the process to build an energy facility in the state. So what they're doing is they are commingling all of these different terms and not separating that this is a CO2 pipeline from anything else, and that's confusing everybody.
I want to come back to that. Lori, we're up against a break. I want to come back to that, though, and I want to talk about that language matters and bring that back to the landowners meeting that took place last week as well. We're talking with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to beck.news, that's BEK.news, for all things concerning Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline. Also, we're going to get into some politics a little bit later in this hour, some breaking news taking place. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bachman along with Lori Hintz from Beck News, beck.news. You can go to beck.news and find all the latest with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline. A lot going on right now with a PSC hearing coming up, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Also, Sioux Falls, Argus Leader, a big article down there because they're in their legislative session right now, and not dissimilar than what took place in North Dakota, our last legislative session. Now they've got a bill that just went through that was stopped because it was protecting landowners and ensuring greater property right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm connecting some dots and I'm reading between the lines a little bit. But again, the conversation is language matters. Language matters, and trying to muddy the water by circle speak doesn't do anybody any good. Yeah.
There is a fellow who is a lobbyist for Missouri River Energy Service named Sam Nelson, and he critiqued this bill that they had put to protect landowners, and he described it, quote, as too, quote, problematic to pass, end quote, too problematic to pass. Landowners have also, according to this article, appealed the decision to the South Dakota Supreme Court, and it remains to be decided whether judicial tribunal will pick up the case. Summit Carbon initiated a motion in December to have that case dismissed. So in South Dakota, they're exerting some lawfare as well in this process because they are just not getting relief from their legislature and legislative representatives. So this is really interesting. The House bill, if you want to look it up, it came out of their Commerce and Energy Committee, and they voted 8-4 on Friday to defer it. House Bill 1079 in South Dakota, if you want to look it up. It's a bill that would have required pipeline and utility companies to obtain written consent from South Dakota property owners, which, as I see it, it does not seem like that's such a problematic thing, because it seems like that makes perfect sense that you would need written consent, especially after I went to that's a 2024 conference that the Northwest landowners had. They had some really interesting, fabulous speakers, and one of them said contractual rights are not constitutional rights. Now, think about that just for a moment. Contractual rights are not constitutional rights. I wrote that down in my notes because it really slapped me right in the face.
Right, but again, language matters. Explain that to the listeners.
Well, what that means is that if you have a contract, it does not usurp necessarily your constitutional rights in the 5th and 14th Amendment. So if you go back and look at the Constitution, you have rights not granted by contracts, not granted by governments, but granted by God. and that was another thing that was just flat out said. And oh, by the way, I have a new story that is coming out too about the Northwest landowners one, so you can watch that. And that latest story will be airing here on Beck News shortly. It is at beck.news, and what you can do is you can go and look at the page where we have all of the compilation of things called Capturing America's Heartland CO2 Pipelines. It's a black logo with white lettering. You click on that, and you can see all the things that we have covered with regard to landowner rights, safety issues, and the CO2 pipeline proposed around the city of Bismarck, actually, to go up into a sequestration site in Oliver and Mercer counties. They've been pushing back their timeline some at Summit Carbon Solutions, so it looks like things might be a little bit later than they had planned. And while this is all going on, we are waiting for a ruling from the PSC, and we're waiting for a ruling from PHMSA as well. So it's a slow-going process, but it's definitely worth paying attention to. That's the other thing, is that more and more people in the community are starting to pay attention to this as well.
Okay,
in fact, go ahead.
Two things here. First of all, I'm still trying to figure out the whole trigger mechanism for those that attack the Constitution. And, God-given rights. How many people are going to freak out about that? Second of all, when you start looking at the bigger logistics of that with the contractual stuff, how is that going to play out in a court of law? I'm just curious how that's going to play out, because it's kind of a he said, she said from a language perspective. And I'm still trying to process some of that, Lori.
I know. I will say this. There is a terrific constitutional-based lawyer who is based out of Bismarck, North Dakota, named Derek Broughton, Braaten. And he, along with the Broughton Law Firm, have been actually championing the landowners' rights for some years now, many years, as a matter of fact. And they've been working on this. And with regard to takings and pore space litigation, they've been doing work on what's called amalgamation, which is a made-up word, in order to be able to do some what's called takings of people's land and rights. So Derek Broughton has been just an absolute rock star, and he is the general counsel for the Northwest Landowners Association, which, by the way, I learned at this conference, has been around since 2010. So they are not a new just pop-up thing. They've been around since 2010, working really hard and bringing lawsuits and doing some lawfare, because that's the only way they can protect landowners' rights at this point.
And the impetus of where they came from was with the growth of the oil and gas industry. There was really a disconnect between the state of North Dakota, the property rights, the mineral rights owners, and the companies that wanted to do business in North Dakota. And they've really functioned as a go-between and a mediator in a lot of these disputes and a lot of the issues, making sure that everything's equitable. I mean, so it's not just about protecting landowner rights. They were just about doing good business and making the process work in North Dakota as well. So they're not left, right, they're center. They're mediators. I mean, and they've done a really good job of making sure that everybody's made whole through a process.
Yeah, precisely. One of the other phrases that I wrote down that I heard during this conference was fair, as in fair market value for your land. Then the statement that I heard was fair is not always just. Fair is not always just. The folks on this panel were just phenomenal. One woman formerly served on the Trump administration Department of the Interior, and Karen Butz-Allen was just terrific. They had Tara Rigetti, who is a professor of law, who is an expert on carbon sequestration. So she talked about property law, and it was very, very worthwhile. The whole process of getting the information out was terrific, because they began historically with the kings, and even before the kings, and how it all comes down to taking somebody else's land. So it was a really interesting historical perspective on it, and it made me realize that things just never change. There's always going to be somebody who's going to want to come after your God-given rights and come after your land. And that's what, this was a very timely reminder of that with the Northwest Landowners Association Conference.
We're talking with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to beck.news, all things Summit Carbon Solutions proposed CO2 pipeline. Looking for a new story coming out with the Northwest Landowners Association and their constitutional conference that took place last week. Looking forward to that story, Lori. When we come back, PSC's got a meeting coming up you need to know about. Also, we're going to talk about an email I got from Summit Carbon Solutions. We'll talk about that as well. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Without apology, The Regular Joe Show with Joe Gigante. Weekday evenings at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bike along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to beck.news, follow all things Summit Carbon Solutions proposed CO2 pipeline related. And before we get into the PSC, because there's an important meeting coming up with the Public Service Commission, but there was just a meeting, a township meeting in Baldwin that took place on Friday, Lori. And do you know the results of that? How did that go?
I do. I actually showed up at the meeting late because I had another commitment. So I was on my way out there, and they were just leaving the meeting. And I spoke to several of the gentlemen who were leaving the building, and they informed me that the township had voted 24-0 to codify or to affirm the Burleigh County ordinances that are in place. So they are just starting to organize in Baldwin now, and had a very nice crowd there. And if you have 24 people right off the bat in the kind of the first shot, that's a really good sign for that township. So congratulations to them for getting people out there. That is not an easy thing to do on a cold and blustery winter night in January, but they managed to do it. So 24-0 was the vote. To reaffirm what Burleigh County is doing with their ordinances.
Well, good news. And, Public Service Commission, they've got another hearing coming up on I believe the 26th, which is a Friday afternoon.
Correct.
Interesting that if you want to bury something in the news cycle, it takes place late on a Friday afternoon. This meeting is going to be taking place late on a Friday afternoon. Is there something people should be concerned about or something people need to know about?
No, this is one of those situations where this is what they call a work session. So this is not something that they're necessarily hiding. In fact, I would posit that this is something that the Public Service Commission is doing in a very transparent manner by filing this notice and letting people know. It is going to go from 3 p.m. until conclusion. So it doesn't have a time that they are even going to specifically cut off discussion either. So that is a good thing. The agenda says, work session to discuss the SCS Carbon Transport LLC Midwest Carbon Express CO2 pipeline project, citing application, case number PU-22-391 on the motion to supersede and preempt. People may or may not be aware that the folks at Summit Carbon Solutions are making a motion to be able to supersede and preempt the ordinances in counties. In Burleigh County and in Emmons County, they have ordinances that say, okay, we have these setbacks and we want to do these things. And so Summit is asking to go around, if you will, and preempt and supersede those ordinances for the local subdivision. So this will be a working session of the PSC, 3 commissioners being able to talk in public about what their thoughts are on this and discuss it before they make an actual ruling on it.
Okay, next steps after this working session gets over. What are you expecting as far as outcomes or not a decision, but what's the next step in the process after this working session?
Well, they will then go and deliberate, and then they will come up with some sort of an answer on this one. But the other thing that's interesting about this work session, and I should note, is that people absolutely can be there to watch it. So you can show up to the Judicial Wing, ground floor, 600 East Boulevard Avenue, to the Pioneer Room, which is the location of this coming Friday, 3 p.m. If you are interested at all in what is going on with the pipeline project, and maybe it's near somewhere that you own a land or somewhere where it will affect you in some way, definitely people can show up and they can, last time they had any type of an announcement in that room, the room was absolutely packed. So you may want to be there a bit early. Excuse me. And 3 p.m. it begins. The work session means that the deliberations will be much like a hearing, but there will not be any allowance for anybody from the gallery or anybody who is there in person to be able to say anything.
No public comment.
It'll just be an observational group.
Yeah, no public comment with this one. So looking forward to hearing about that coming up in the following weeks. One of the things I received an email this last week. It was kind of a Happy New Year from Summit Carbon Solutions, kind of a newsletter. And they kind of outlined some of the things they were working on. Iowa Utilities Board closed their dockets. They were reviewing that, thanking everybody who made comments in their favor for that. And then I got down in the news section, and they started talking about carbon capture. And anybody who has any questions whatsoever what the agenda on this is, it is 100% for ethanol. And Summit says this right in the newsletter. They are working to open new markets for corn growers and ethanol producers in South Dakota. And that is 100% the purpose of this pipeline, according to everything they laid out in this newsletter. It's all about ethanol. And you and I were discussing a little bit that really, is it about ethanol or is it about methanol, the next iteration of corn growing?
That is so interesting that you should say that, too, because at the Northwest Landowners Association conference that I attended last week, there was a gentleman who spoke after Congressman Steve King named Doyle Turner, and he came up from Iowa as well. Steve King, a former congressman, retired from Iowa. Doyle Turner from Iowa said exactly what you just said. He said that methanol is the end game with all of this. Methanol, as you know, is another derivative, which means that it can be far more efficient, clean. So methanol is definitely rising in several different areas. I have seen wind of this as well, that this is very possible. A lot of people are talking about clean jet fuel.
Well, and methanol is, if you dirt track racing or follow NASCAR, methanol, that's a fuel source.
Yeah, I think that we're going to be hearing a lot more about methanol as time goes on here too. And the other thing is that the website, if you look on Summit Carbon Solutions, and I've made note of it, says specifically that this is for carbon sequestration. But there were many, many folks at this Northwest Landowners Association meeting who said not really certain that that's what the end game is, because it looks like to many of the folks there that there might be some other uses for that underground storage, if you will, of the CO2. So that was very curious, too. That was very front and center at the meeting as well.
And that was the 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4, because in the newsletter, they don't say that. There's no mention in this newsletter about carbon sequestration whatsoever. Not a word. The only other thing in North Dakota they do say is Summit Carbon Solutions secures 80% of easements in North Dakota.
I have a question about that, too.
Yeah, that's up for debate.
I'm curious about that number, and I would like to see, I'm hoping to question Summit Carbon Solutions and get a real breakdown of exactly what that is, because some counties in North Dakota, some counties have only one landowner because the pipeline goes over that corner of that county. So if you have one landowner in that county, you get 100% if you get an easement for that landowner. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this could be I have seen previously where Burleigh County only had about 44% or 41%, or the deal is that you can use those counties and break them down county by county, and if you only have one landowner and they do sign an easement, that is 100%. So the percentage, it does not necessarily equate to the mile, if that makes sense.
It does. Well, maybe you can get that information from Summit Carbon Solutions' new Chief Financial Officer. Lee Blank, CEO. Yeah, so maybe. So Summit also has a new CFO working on their project. So maybe you can get the answers there. We're up against a break. When we come back, I want to. Is there anything else with the CO2 pipeline we need to cover before we shift topics a little bit?
Well, we'll be talking about that Friday meeting at the Public Service Commission. That is long awaited. We've been waiting for some time for them to start working on that. So I know that they've got their hands full with so many projects at the PSC right now. But we'll talk about that, and that's the big thing that's coming up next. So.
Perfect. Lori Hintz, you can get all the latest BEK.news, BEK.news with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little politics, have Lori switch hats, some breaking news coming out of the governor's office this morning. We'll fill you in on that coming up next. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bachman along with Lori Hintz from BEK News, and we're shifting a little away from Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline, which you can follow at BEK News. But some breaking news this morning, Lori, and I figured since I have you on, I'll have you throw on your BEK News hat. And some of the stories we're following politically this morning. Big announcement coming out of the governor's office.
Yeah, it was announced on the governor's website at 9 a.m. this morning that the Governor Doug Burgum is not planning to run for re-election. So that comes as a bit of a surprise. He is eligible for one more term until term limits will term him out. But at this point, speculation has been swirling, of course, since the Donald Trump win in Iowa. And after his win in Iowa, he was up on stage, and our governor was behind him, and he talked about having a place for him in his administration, possibly. So lots of questions with regard to that. We haven't heard any specifics. But the governor did announce on his website, his official website, that he is not running for another term today. And in addition to that, also this morning, earlier than that, it was announced that entrepreneur and doctor and plastic surgeon Dr. Rick Becker is running for a House of Representatives seat. So he's going to run for the U.S. Congress. Also announced today. So many big breaking news stories, and they all, really do connect to the energy sector in some way, too, because it is surmised that perhaps the President of the United States, 45 and very possibly 47, Donald Trump, would be probably tapping our governor for some sort of a post dealing with ag or energy. So you can use your imagination and figure out what kind of possibilities he would have in a Trump administration.
Two things that our tech geek governor have nothing to do with. But okay. So did you catch any of his talking points on Meet the Press this weekend? He's a horrible speaker. It was not pretty. So we'll just leave that at that. But the question is, if he's not running, now he's gone around and touted Tammy Miller, who's the lieutenant governor at the moment, as the next future governor of North Dakota, a future governor of North Dakota. He was touting her as that while the previous lieutenant governor was still in office, before he resigned. So speculation, who's lining up for a potential run at the governorship? Is it going to be Tammy Miller? Tom Campbell is a name that is out there. Could it be somebody else?
It seems to me like today is going to be a very, very interesting political day because there are some people scrambling right now to scoop up opportunities. So it'll be very interesting in the next 24 hours what happens.
A lot of dominoes.
A lot of dominoes on this one. So we shall see. It's hard to speculate at this point until people make FEC filings and do paperwork so that you can follow a paper trail, and then they make official announcements as well. But early this morning we also are getting announcements all over the state of North Dakota of various legislators who are not running as well.
Well, that was the other. That was the other piece of this because not only national seats, but we've got some prominent legislators that are not running for another term in North Dakota. Especially some news coming out of Fargo.
Right in Fargo, Shannon Roars-Jones and Dad Jim Roars are not running for House and Senate respectively in District 46. In Minot, we hear that Karen Krebsbach and Randy Schobinger have decided that they are not going to run for another term. And then Rust also in another district has said that he is not running for the House. So it's really, there is fruit basket upset going on in the political scene right now, and very well may have to do with some of the pushback from some of the various grassroots organizations and things like that.
Lori, we're up against the break. Thank you very much. You can follow all of the latest at Beck News, beck.news. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
The Todd Starnes Daily Update, weekday mornings at 11:30 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy, just get in line, it moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken. Joining us on the program from Tracy's Sanctuary House, Kelsey Zotnick. And a little backstory, because we're getting close to the Winter White Party right now. It's closer than people think, and you guys are almost out of tickets. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But little backstory to Tracy's Sanctuary House for those that may not be familiar with it.
Yeah, so Tracy's Sanctuary House was created in memory of my mom, Tracy. And in 2004, we were in a motor vehicle accident, and she was ejected from the vehicle, and we were outside of Barnesville, Minnesota. At that time, she was air flighted to the local hospital, and it was Fargo. And so we had all these family members travel from Bismarck, Mandan, Elgin, Flasher, Carson area to be by her bedside during that emergency situation. She was in the emergency room, and she passed away that night. And then what they told us to do, just walk across the hotel and get a hotel room. And it's 1 a.m. and you kind of walk across to the hotel. That's not the nicest hotel in the area. And then we just didn't have a place to congregate. So we didn't have somewhere to kind of mourn or that what next. We didn't have a vehicle, so we had to figure out who was going to take us home. Well,
in a moment like that, you're in a little bit of a fog. You're in shock. You're dazed. It's so, trying to put all the logistics together of, hotel and stay and meals and meeting space and trying to get the family rallied around a tragic event. You're not thinking the clearest at that time, and you really shouldn't have to.
Yeah, and so that event, after staying maybe 4 hours that night, we had 6 hotel rooms with all the family that came to her bedside, and we left about 4 hours into our hotel stay, and we decided to go back to Bismarck. And my dad immediately was like, well, why isn't there like a home where it's like a private space and where families could come and let the kids kind of be and have a kitchen and a bathroom and a living room area where you could kind of congregate and kind of that what next feeling in the emergency situation. It would have been nice to have family members go to a family while my mom was in her surgeries, or into a house, have families go to a house where my mom was like in surgery during some of those time frames. And so that's what was the inception of Tracy's Sanctuary House. So my mom passed away in August of 2004, and within a month my dad started dreaming this idea of Tracy's Sanctuary House. And this was way before Airbnbs were a thing. And so my dad wanted a home where families could come in emergency. We have everything there for you for an emergency stay, shampoo, toilet paper, all the bed linens, everything is fully furnished in the house. And you can stay for 24 hours all the way up to 6 weeks. And we've even had longer than 6 weeks. We've had NICU babies that have been born at 25 weeks gestational, and we've housed them for 15 weeks. So
the other side of that is the cost. Yes. So if you think about a child in a NICU and you've got extended family that wants to be there to support the family, it's expensive. A hotel stay for 6 weeks, that's not doable.
That is not doable, especially when the discount rate is $90 at a hotel right now. It's you save a lot of money just to go on a vacation, and this does not become a vacation for these families. And so this can definitely put people at a really hard spot to pay for hotel stays, especially for multiple weeks in advance. So we do offer the first week as a free will donation for emergency situations. And then if cancer or dialysis patients doing their outpatient treatment in Bismarck, they can utilize our facilities too, or we've had transplant patients. So anyone that's doing 3+ weeks, as low as $15 a night is what we charge, just to help offset some of our operational costs, the utilities and the mortgage and all of those things. But yeah, we can help families at kind of any income level, whatever their need is, and we kind of support them as much as we can while their loved one is in the hospital.
Okay, we're going to get to the fundraising side of this and how you offset some of those costs in a few minutes. But from a communications perspective, because tragedy happens, you're a family member's life flighted, you're in the NICU, whatever the case may be, and first thing we do is we flock to be by the side of our loved ones. You don't think about the planning ahead and reserving a hotel room and things like that. But now you're in the moment, and the question is, okay, what do I need to do? Where I need to go because I can't stay at the hospital all night. Mm-hmm. How does that communication piece work with the local medical providers?
Yep.
If somebody's coming in for that cancer treatment at the cancer center, or a NICU stay, or somebody is in a tragic accident and life flighted in. Mm-hmm. How do you work with the medical providers?
Yeah.
Because, somebody's sitting there and the grief counselor's with them and in the emergency room, and you're like, okay, stop, take a breath, and this is the plan.
Yep.
And Tracy Sanctuary's house comes up.
Yep. So we actually have a connection with all the hospitals, the local chaplains, the police chaplains, and what they can do is they refer people to Tracy Sanctuary House. So there is a formal referral medical form that we do have the hospitals help us fill out for those families so that we can have an admittance process. But the social workers, the case managers, the chaplains, it's also a grassroots effort. A lot of families find out about us from someone else that knew us, or that's another person in their local community has used Tracy Sanctuary House. Facebook has been a big help for us as well over the years. A lot of people find us on Facebook. I've seen people post on, Bismarck area moms, I'm looking for a place to stay, and it's, someone recommends Tracy Sanctuary House, if it's someone from out of Bismarck area. So it's definitely kind of all-encompassing. The hospitals for sure. People call us directly, and then we kind of gather the information that we need for the admittance, making sure that they fit the mission of what Tracy Sanctuary House does. And then we work with the nurses, social workers, case managers, chaplains, police officers. We've had all different referrals come through our doors. So
a lot of word of mouth.
Yes.
A lot of connections with the providers in a tragic situation. You mentioned the crisis care chaplaincy, and the work those guys do is unbelievable, that are right there when a tragedy happens. The social media side of stuff, that's a lot of work to get those connections and get that out there when you're providing a service for somebody that is in crisis.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you don't ever think maybe you're going to need something like Tracy Sanctuary House. And so we've built up this since 2005, but I've taken over in 2016 as a full-time director. And so a big push for that grassroots effort, for connecting to the hospitals, creating that referral form process to help us, manage that process better. It's definitely taken a few years to get, and we're always changing things and working to a better system. But definitely word of mouth is the biggest thing. We need all the ambassadors out there that maybe know someone that needs us. There's people that find us 2 weeks after they've already paid for a hotel, and they're like, oh, I wish we would have found you sooner. And we wish they would have too, because we can alleviate some of the stress. We can provide privacy. We can provide amenities that you don't get at a hotel room. And because it's a fully furnished house with multiple living rooms, multiple kitchens, a chapel in the back, a gorgeous backyard, a full-service washer and dryer for them. It's all there for them to use while they're staying at Tracy's.
A lot of different opportunities out there when somebody's in crisis, and that takes some funding as well. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about one of your biggest fundraisers and a fun event. This has turned into, the Winter White Party has turned into just a great event. We're going to find out more about that, and tickets are getting down there. So if you are thinking about going, you need to get your tickets now. We're talking with Kelsey Zotnick, Tracy Sanctuary House. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bach along with Kelsey Zotnick, Tracy Sanctuary House. And, okay, we talked a little bit about Tracy Sanctuary House, but, the work you guys do takes a lot of funds. And you've got a lot of great partners, got a lot of great sponsors. You do a lot of great fundraising. One of the funnest events that you guys, don't miss this one. Every year the winter white party, and it falls right at a time where it's like, okay, we're done with the holidays. Where it's like, okay, now we're getting into the doldrums of it's cold outside. Cold. I need something fun to do.
Yeah,
and the winter white party's it.
Yes, it is. And it seems like it's always on one of the coldest weeks of the year. And as we can see the temperatures dropping, I feel like it's just right on par this year.
You're going to be right on par. Great venue, though. You guys are up at the Heritage Center in the atrium there, and it is such a beautiful venue. And you know, it wouldn't be the winter white party if it wasn't winter.
Exactly.
And it wasn't white.
Right.
And by the way, frost is white. So that's hence the cold. It's okay.
Yeah, so it's at the North Dakota Heritage Center on January 25th. And again, it's our signature fundraiser, our only one and only big annual fundraiser that we do for Tracy Sanctuary House. We're involved in some smaller things, but this is the event. Yeah, this is what helps us. Last year we raised right around $50,000, which is, I mean, that's mind blowing for us. We're a very small organization and I'm a one-person staff member. So, I was like, years ago, I was like giving away tickets, and now it's like people are knocking at our door the day of asking to buy tickets, and it's sold out usually. So
selling out's great, but it's not just about the tickets.
No.
It's about the sponsors
Yes.
and the things that are there to do.
Yes.
And
we have, the community has shown up for us year and year after. Our sponsors are, if you don't follow us on Tracy Sanctuary's Facebook page, our list of sponsors is a mile long. We have the best community partners that help us put this event on and help us raise the funds that we need to for Tracy Sanctuary House. So I do thank all of them. But the event itself is kind of a different type of event. It's a social event.
It's a social.
Yeah, it's a huge social. That was kind of the event. It was a party. My mom loved to host parties.
And you think about some of these fundraising events, and it's like, okay, that's going to tie up my entire evening.
Yep.
No, you guys, no. You're having happy hour.
It's literally happy hour. So we have hors d'oeuvres there, heavy hors d'oeuvres, a signature drink that you can have something fun in your drink. This year we have a cash bar, but the games and the big thing is the diamond dig. We are digging for diamonds this year. So we have these gorgeous 1.75 total carat weight stud earrings from Riddle's Jewelry that we are going to be giving away during our diamond dig. So we kind of try to make it fun and different every year. There's things to do, things to purchase, a silent auction, games to play, and that all that money is raised and goes right back into the mission of Tracy Sanctuary House. We pay for utilities, mortgage, all the things that your own home would need. We do need plus more.
So talk about some of the partnerships, because you've got a lot of great sponsors to pitch in on this. Yep. You just don't do this event without some great community sponsors.
No. So we have the sponsor list is literally a mile long, and I don't want to forget anyone, but we've been on TV. We've been on KX News. Riddles provides the diamonds the last few years. We have a lot of personal sponsors that are helping us fund the games that we're doing. Send It 24/7 is going to help us with the cornhole tournament that we're going to do. We have Stanford and CHI obviously are helping with us. And all of these sponsors get tickets, so they also like to come and enjoy the event as well. So a few of our higher level sponsors get an actual reserve table in the atrium, in the gorgeous white atrium. And then a lot of people have donated to the silent auction, and we will have that online on the 21st, the week of the event. So if you do not attend the event, you can still get a silent auction item. So
now that's one of the nice things too with the silent auction being online, because a lot of people have gone to that format. It really opens up the bidding because in your case, you sell out every year.
Yes, so we have the last few.
But a lot of people like to get in on silent auctions, and you still have that opportunity.
Yes, and that has been a wonderful addition to our silent auction. We used to only do it at the event, and opening it up for other people to bid during the week of. And also, even if you're attending an event, it's kind of nice to look at what's out there so that you can kind of focus on maybe what you want or what you're interested in during the event. But it closes the night of the event. But if you are not in attendance and you're a winner, we will arrange pickup or drop off. So.
As far as attire, winter white party is white. So just wear white.
Yes. So white is the name of the game. So the last few years, people have really been up in their game, and they've been dressing to the nines with the white. But you can wear from a white sweater and jeans all the way to a white formal dress. And so you'll see a whole different gamut of people there, but it's definitely has been elevated the last few years with the white game. So this is the one
time of the year it's okay to wear white between Labor Day and Memorial Day.
Yes, it is. Yes. A good spray tan is always really nice, because then you don't feel like you're so ghostly. But yes, and then after all the holiday eating and everything. But it is so fun for people to get involved. I mean, I have people telling me in August that they're already looking for their white attire for the event. So it's kind of cool. It's definitely have its legs of its own.
So you're down to less than 40 tickets?
We are down to 40 tickets, and there's a price increase on Friday. So if you haven't gotten your ticket now and you are thinking about going, I would grab it before they're sold out.
How do people get their tickets?
Yeah, they can go either on TracySanctuary.com. We have a little ticket link right on the right on the homepage. Go onto Facebook. There's event out there, and then Eventbrite. That's where we're selling them through.
And then as far as people getting hooked up for the silent auction that takes place, where do they go for that?
They can, so we will be posting that on our website. Not our website, but we will be posting that on the Facebook page, Tracy Sanctuary House on Facebook. And then I'll be sending out an email to all those email subscribers that we have. So if you are looking for the link, that's the two places you can look.
People want to get a hold of you? How do they do that?
Yep. Just call us at 701-258-5889 is our phone number. You can message us on Facebook or email us on our website.
And the website one more time?
www.tracysanctuary.com.
Winter White Party coming up right around the corner, January 25th.
Only a few weeks.
It's so quick. Kelsey, thanks for coming in. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Good.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Weekend Talk lineup is on Super Talk 1270. Check out the program schedule at supertalk1270.com and on the free Super Talk 1270 app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken. Happy Monday. Road's a little slick out there. So, Kev, how was your drive over? Was it a little
Not
slippery?
bad.
No?
They've got the roads really good.
Tell you what, earlier this morning, roads were, before we got some traffic on them, a little bit on the slick side, but that should alleviate itself a little bit as temperatures warm up today. A little bit. We're kind of at the high for the day. It's crazy. But Kev from Running is joining us this morning, and Iowa Smokehouse, of course, we got to start with jerky talk, steak bite. You brought steak bites, my friend.
Brought steak bites.
Brad only brings me steak bites every now and then, but I love steak bites. I love jerky, but I love steak bites. You brought me two different kinds, the sweet old-fashioned steak bites, which I dearly love. And then I have not tried these yet. The red pepper steak bites.
Oh, they're good. They are good.
They get a little bite to them.
They got a little bite, but they're beefy.
But the bite lingers.
Yes.
That's the part that the bite lingers. So one of the great products of Iowa Smokehouse over at Runnings. Also, you guys carry.
We got the sticks. We got the summer. We got the jerky. We've got all of this stuff. Great product. Oh, we got Cloverdale snacks now, and I tell you what, we're filling them things up weekly. Everybody loves the Cloverdale snacks as well. So come on by. Oh yeah, we got not only the Candy Cove, but we got a lot of jerky and snacks too.
One of the things I want to talk about, not the flyer, because there really isn't a flyer this week. You guys are in the, going through inventory and stuff right now, but you've got, thank you, Customer Appreciation Day is coming up.
Yes.
Right around the corner.
It is.
And that's a big week.
That's a big week. And we're really doing some special things all throughout the store. Sportsman side, of course, with me. I love it because we're running the gift card specials again. Ooh. And that's a big one. You know, you spend $250, you get a $25 gift card back. You know, clear up to $2,000 and $200 gift card back. We love this event. I mean, our customers love it.
So that certain gun I told you to try to keep an eye out for me, that might be the good time to buy it right now?
Now would be a good time to buy it in a week.
Okay. All right.
Because this goes through January 28th through the 4th. I can go back and put your name and tag it.
Okay, just checking. Yeah. You got one in?
Maybe.
Really?
I got to tease you a little bit, but I'm not going to give you all.
One of the things, too, with Customer Appreciation Days, the gift card special in the sporting goods side is amazing. But with Customer Appreciation Days, you also have some theme days. Great opportunity to get back to the community. You got Cedar Citizen Day, which takes place Wednesday, January 31st. You've got Military Police, Fire Department, and EMT Day, so basically First Responder Day on Thursday, February 1st, and Healthcare Workers Day, Friday, February 2nd. All of those are opportunities that Runnings gives back to vitally important people in the community.
Well, and we care. We care about everybody in our community. We really do. I mean, but when we can focus like this on those special people for the time they give, and we all know
and that's on top of all the other specials.
That's on top of it. So you come in, get that 10% off. And I mean, it's everything from every department in the store. We can help you out. We can get you ready for the spring that is eventually going to be coming. I like the title they put on the hunting one, Everything Outdoors. Our store's just about everything. You go across. I love it when people come in and say, what don't you have?
That's a great question.
Let me think about it, because there's not much we don't have.
Well, let's think about that for a second. What do you not have at Runnings?
You got
a little groceries. You got a lot of clothing. We got
hardware. We got electrical, automotive, outdoor wear, houseware.
That is a great question. I like to think about questions and problem solve from the other side of the aisle. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, what do you not have?
And if we don't have it when our customers come in, we love it when they say, "Hey, can you guys get this?" And we will definitely research it and try to get that product in that we're missing. That's what we're all about, is keep building it. Building and building and building in all of our departments. I mean, it was kind of crazy going over, everything this last weekend and to see the literally hundreds of thousands of SKUs we have in this store of product, and we want to keep adding and getting the right stuff for every level.
So one of the things you guys, of course, the farm and ranch side of things, and as we're starting to get into spring season, that means calving, lambing. You got all that covered. And all of it. So one of the other things, too, is you were clearancing out the H&W brand stuff. Not that you're not going to continue to carry that. You were just closing that out because you were relabeling all the SKUs. Where are you at on some of the clearance items?
We still have some out there, I think. Not a lot. I mean,
a few gates,
a few panels, but not a whole lot from our last time you and I talked about it last week. So a lot of customers came in and said, "Hey, I heard you have this." We've moved a lot. But the H&K, it's not going nowhere. It's staying around.
So and the other side of that too is if you might have to find a panel here and a gate over there, but you guys are okay with that.
We're okay. We've got that fence. Actually, when they went out and did the audit on the fence, I don't remember how many hours it took, but it took a ton, because then you realize how much we actually have.
Did you make him go out last week when it was really really cold?
We made Bradley go out because he's not here this week. So we made him go out last week. So absolutely.
Great line of calf warmers, tanks, fencing, all of that. One of the things too is depending on the weather, supplements. There's a lot of people have to supplement with really cold weather, whether it's their lambs or calves. You guys carry all that?
All the supplements, and that, especially those high protein things that they really need. And it just kicks off spring. It helps them. So when those new grazing fields come in and replenish, let's take care of them prior to that. Let's get them what they need to start up hard and healthy. And that's what we have, a lot of that.
You know, we were pretty good, too, until we had this little cold snap. But as far as heaters and keeping stock
milk house heaters and stock tank heaters and all of that
open, and you guys have got all of that. And, of course, once we're starting to get into soggier weather.
Yeah, good way to put it.
So muck boots,
soupy weather.
You guys always have a great deal on muck boots, and one we haven't talked about because I've kind of gotten down this road a little bit on the hunting side of things. Kamek, you guys carry a great line of Kamek boots.
We do, and that's a very good, solid, wearable boot. I mean, they're going to last you. They're comfortable. They've got that arch and heel support in them. Yeah, Ariat, Kamek. Oh my gosh, that's one of those things. We have so much that we're not sure. I'm not sure what all we have, but it's a lot.
Again, what do you not have? Pet supplies too. You guys got a great lineup for pets, and we just had a litter of puppies last August. I did a lot of shopping at Runnings. There was a lot of stuff I picked up at Runnings that, especially when it's just up the street. I was like, wait a minute. I need this and I need this, and
it's not just the foods and stuff either though. It's the dog trays, it's the leads, it's the all that.
And I actually picked up a couple new dog kennels, full collapsible crates, and I was going through some of the other ones, and I was like, wait a minute. The pan's cracked, or I need the new. Yeah. You guys have all the replacement pans.
All.
You guys got it all. So whether you're putting up kennels out in the backyard, or you're looking at just foldable dog crates, and you've got all of that, and the food and the.
We got the mats, we got the fancy, we got the 6 foot, the big outdoor 6x6, 6x10 kennels, and that. We got it all from every level, and we don't even leave out the cats because we got a lot of stuff for them kitties.
Well, and I was running through a lot of sales on dog toys.
Oh yeah,
because I was doing a lot of shopping on dog toys.
Yeah. It's kind of a nice thing at the end of the year when all that stuff goes on sale.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The timing was about right. So, Kev from Runnings, great Iowa Smokehouse, sweet old-fashioned steak bites, and the red pepper steak bites, which I have not had before. Good stuff. Be sure to try those out at Runnings with all the other stuff. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of hunting because with the sale coming up, there's some seasons that you need to get ready for.
Get ready.
I mean, we're really... If you think about it, not that far away from spring open water fishing again, and we haven't really had an ice fishing season yet, but spring turkey's around the corner as well.
Spring turkey's right there.
A lot to get ready for. We're going to talk about that when we come back. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 12-7.
Super Talk.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken along with Kev from Runnings. Of course, they've got a great flyer coming up, not this week, the following week. It's their Customer Appreciation Days, and some great days there too. Senior Citizens Day, Military Police Fire Department, EMT Day, so First Responders Day, Healthcare Worker Days, all 10% off on top of what their already sale prices are for that flyer. And of course, the sporting goods. This is kind of a big time for sporting goods, Kev.
Big time. Turnover season.
Oh, gift cards. You guys do that gift card, so you spend $250, you get a $25 gift card. Yep. All the way up to $2,000, you get a $200 gift card back.
Yep.
So if you're like me and you kind of eyeing a certain firearm, now's the time to buy that. Or, maybe you're looking at a fish house or a trolling motor or
decoys or anything.
Anything in sporting goods. Now's the time to hop on
use that gift card for.
Well, and you think about some of the optics that are out there too. It's a great time to buy some of that as well.
We're a leader in Vortex. I mean, Vortex and Loophole and that, but Vortex
or the little inflatable Coleman hot tub. For
great
under
little
$500.
Yeah, when the winter comes, if you don't want it up, deflate it, put it back in the box, pull it back out in the spring.
Or if you like to tailgate.
Or tailgate.
I've seen people
I heard that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hot tubbing while tailgating.
Yeah,
good
why
time.
not? You get to know your neighbors.
Party. Somebody wants to have a Super Bowl party.
There you go. I'll be there when you do that.
Also, you got a couple other things on here as well. One of the big things is gun safes, and you got a great deal on Liberty gun safes that, one of the best names out there. Great opportunity to get in it because I was there for the Black Friday sale, and good Lord, those things went fast.
They go fast. And the nice thing I like about the Liberties is that they still run a backup skeleton key on their systems. So if something goes wrong, you can always get into that safe because you got that skeleton key that will get you into
they all get the electronic lock now, and
so
battery died or something goes a little awry, and it's electronics.
Take the key and put it inside the safe for safekeeping.
But don't do that.
Don't do that because we've had that, and that takes a lot of work for me getting you a new one. So don't do that.
Another thing too is when we're talking about spring, because we're talking during the break a little bit about open water fishing season right around the corner, and I'm in the process of putting a new trolling motor on my little river fishing boat, and one of the things we have to talk about as well is we've got seasons coming up right around the corner. You go to the Game and Fish website, we're not that far from turkey season, and don't forget,
going to be due pretty quick.
You're going to have to get your new fishing license here real soon, and so
end of March. Fishing license time, you gotta reinstate them all. So come on in while you're there. Look at the fishing. We've got had a guy in the store the other day, never back in that department. He says, "Where's your fishing?" And I said, "The next 13 aisles." And he was blown away. It's like, where'd this come from? Well, it's been here as long as I have, and I've been there for a long time. But we can fix it. Spooling, respooling your rigs. And I've got a new guy in that's super knowledgeable. We've got the help you need in that fishing. But then, of course, my favorite, spring turkey. I'm a gobbler guy.
Well, you just said you had a guy that was like, hey,
the other day,
I want to get into spring turkey.
Wanted to get in, been old box, late caller forever, wanted to try his experience with a diaphragm. Worked with them for a few minutes, got him fired up on a diaphragm call. We were talking turkey in the store. People are coming just to, see what's there. If there is a real one or not. Well, I've been known as being a turkey, so I'll take that. I just don't strut no more. At my age, you don't strut.
Come on, I've seen you strut. It's fine. One of the things too is I was looking in comparables on some knives. You've got the Smith Head Sports Bushcraft knife. Great little knife, and I've got several of these. $5.99.
Super sharp.
Yeah, super sharp knife. Yeah. If you need a knife to just throw in your truck or throw in,
a lot of people throw them in their campers.
Throw in your camper.
They throw them in their campers. They're that good of a knife. We tested it on a Coke can. And that little knife ripped through that Coke can so fast it was unreal.
Yeah, little plastic knife. You can fillet with it. You can do all kinds of things with
$6.
$6.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was going to ask you about too, because a lot of people have gotten into these razor knives.
Yes.
So
Outdoor Edge. There's many
you've got the knife, and you just replace the blade.
Pull the blade out, and they are all surgical tuned.
Yeah, surgical steel.
Yes. So you got to be careful, and I tell people that, especially deer hunting when you're up in that carcass.
Hands are cold, maybe fingers a little numb. You don't know if you'd cut yourself.
You got to be careful.
But you don't cut yourself with a sharp knife. You cut yourself with a dull knife.
A dull knife.
Yes.
Not a sharp knife. So, and with a good knife and the good tools, you don't have to worry about going up there blind. You can take it all the way up, and
and that's what I've run into
too.
God, I remember elk hunting back in the day because I used to go to Colorado elk hunting all the time, and I would actually bring my knife sharpener with me.
Oh yeah,
you had to bring the knife sharpener because you get halfway through gutting an elk, or you do that gutting a deer, and that blade goes dull.
Yeah, take a little scissor sharpener, bam, few strokes, keep it tuned.
With these razor knives, I see a new investment I have to do. You just flop the blade out.
We do.
And then
we got the ones with the gut hooks too, so it's a 2-blade fold.
Oh.
So you've got your flex gutting blade and hiding blade, but it also has a gut hook blade. And if you've never used a good gut hook blade, they're phenomenal. They don't no
The good
work.
ones are.
No work. It just makes your life so easy. And going through that hide, they just lay it open. It's so a whole lot less work. So if you don't have to work as hard, you're more cautious.
And I've seen some of the good ones too. They'll have that saw, because you remember when the big Sagan saw came out, and it's like, wow, this is the best thing ever for splitting the.
Splitting the pelvis, you cut it all the way out now. You don't just split it, because we all lost enough tips of our knives, taking the old stick or the hand and pounding
banging it away.
All of a sudden, it's like you got a square knife.
Yeah, that $50 buck knife just, it's not as...
And I can sell you those too, because we got those too.
I know you do.
We got such a variety of them, whatever you want, and so many of them have such good grip support and stuff now. You know, a lot of knives, the biggest thing was your hands would get greasy, slimy. They would slip. Well, with so many of these, and the Outdoor Edge and the Gerbers, your hands don't slip.
Yeah.
They won't slide off, so you got a good firm grip on them all the time.
I still have the first 2 buck knives my grandfather had ever bought me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I little. It's like...
Can't wear them out. Good steel.
Can't wear them out. You just can't. Fine quality over at Runnings. Don't forget, coming up, their customer appreciation days a week from this week.
Yes.
So a lot going on. This is Talk of the Town. Kev, thanks for coming in. And now you got me thinking about fishing and hunting again.
Yeah, and the sports show. Don't forget the sports show
coming up.
February
this is Talk of the Town.
7th, 8th, 9th.
We'll talk about that coming up too. Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.